And we're live, guys. Welcome to another episode of Good Morning Crypto. Only here, only on Ivan on Tech. We are, of course, broadcasting live straight out of Stockholm, Sweden, and we do this show each and every day at 8 a.m. Central European Summertime. Guys, today we have a truly important and exciting episode. Why? Because we're going to discuss the war on cash and really the significance of the war on cash and why the war on cash is actually taking place. Why is it happening? Because at the end of the day, it's all about control, and it's all about being able to control interest rates to a very large degree. And you will soon understand why it is so important to the elites and to the to people in charge of the current monetary system that is failing, by the way, to eliminate cash. And you will also understand why Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are so important, especially in these days, especially when the war on cash is accelerating, and especially when we see why the war on cash is happening. Because today I will show you a report by IMF, International Monetary Fund, where they basically discuss how the negative interest rates will accelerate, because they need to accelerate in many ways in order to stimulate the growth, in order to stimulate consumption, in order to stimulate more investments, as they say. And this is in order to save the economy, to save the world economy, which is struggling a lot. That is number one. And then number two, we're going to talk about Erlang and some functional programming, because unfortunately the founder of Erlang has passed away, Mr. Armstrong. And I had the privilege to work with Mr. Armstrong back in Ericsson a few years back here in Stockholm, Sweden. So we're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss the significance of functional programming, and also we're going to talk about Erlang. But guys, of course, it's amazing to see all of you here. I see Oleg, I see Crypto World, I see Todd, Shadow Trooper, everyone, welcome to the show. Amazing to have you here. Be sure to, number one, smash that like, number two, bell button, and extremely important to smash the bell button, and also let me know where you all are from. And as well, before we start, I saw this amazing GIF. Have you seen this? This is about IEOs and the fact that in many cases IEOs are highly manipulated by the exchange and by the project itself. So take a look at this. It's hilarious. So this is the IEO project. This is the trader. So the guy in the back is the trader. Look at this.
Watch the straw. 3, 2, 1. Whoa! Gone. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? All the way. Whoa! What? Blood of Jesus! Blood of Jesus!
So as you can see, in many cases exchanges and projects are indeed manipulating what is happening, and you as a trader cannot be this guy, because obviously you see that the exchange and the projects are conspiring against the trader. So be careful indeed. And also, before we start, be sure to check out domains.ivanontech.com in order to get blockchain-based domains. I mean, these domains are on the blockchain, on Zilliqa blockchain. They are unstoppable, and also you can receive funds by having a domain name. So instead of having a long 20-character long address, you just have a domain name that people can send you crypto to. So definitely important to check out domains.ivanontech.com. Now, the real thing I want to get into today is this: cashing in, how to make negative interest rates work. And this is a blog post by the IMF. You can find it in the description. And they are being pretty honest with the whole situation with cash and how cash are really stopping the development of negative interest rates. Because we have to realize that the entire monetary system today is a big experiment. You look at, for example, in Sweden, where you have negative interest rates, it has never happened before. We are really trying to discover uncharted territories, because obviously when you go below zero, you go to negative interest rates, everything inverts. We're now living in an inverted economy where saving is punished. When you save money, you actually lose money. You all the time need to spend it. You're living in, if you just read Economy 101, Economics 101, and you go below zero in interest rates, everything in Economics 101 flips upside down. So really, when people are saying that Bitcoin is experimental, you realize that the entire economic system is highly experimental as well. And now they're saying that, hey, negative interest rates are something that many more countries are now exploring and moving into. However, cash is stopping that development. The fact that people have cash is actually stopping our negative interest rates. Why? Because you do not have to have money at the bank if you have cash. If you have cash and you have your bills, you have your dollars, you have your euros as bills, you have zero interest rate. You're not losing anything. You're not losing the actual amount of fiat you've got. But if you have them in a bank account, then you actually pay the bank a negative interest rate. So in that sense, it is a threat to the agenda of negative interest rates, and really it is a threat to the central banks who want to have full control of the monetary policy and the full control of exactly which interest rates the citizens experience. So IMF writes the following, that many central banks reduced policy interest rates to zero during the global financial crisis to boost growth. While the global economy has been recovering, future downturns are inevitable. So in the future, they might need to go even lower, because all of these crises are just getting worse and worse and worse, because we never really solved any real issue. We never really solved anything. We're just continuing down the same path, and we're just duct taping everything. It is just duct tape solutions, everything, not real solutions, not real cures. So severe recessions have historically required 3 to 6 percentage points cuts in policy rates. Now, the issue with this is that many countries are already living in negative interest rates. You look at, for example, Sweden. I mean, we're living in a world with negative interest rates. And you know what? The economy is doing quite well. And what will happen when the economy turns bad? You have no tools. You have no tools in your toolbox left to go even lower. But if cash is eliminated, you can indeed go even lower. You can indeed decrease interest rates even more, because people have all their money at the bank. They don't have any cash. So obviously now it is possible to decrease even more. And so they're continuing to write the following, that in a cashless world where there would be no lower bound on interest rates, because a central bank could reduce the policy rate from, say, 2% to -4% to counter a severe recession. Without cash, depositors would have to pay the negative interest rate to keep their money with the bank, making consumption and investment more attractive. And this is where I think it is so unfair to so many people, because obviously, if you have a lot of money, let's say you have a few hundred thousands, or you have a few million at least, you are able to use this situation to your own best. I mean, obviously, if you have a few million and you see negative interest rates, probably it is easy for you to get a loan at the bank, because you have so good credit score and you have so much money. So the bank will tell you, okay, of course, we're gonna give you cheap money because interest rates are so low. We're gonna give you cheap money. You can use that money to invest in real estate, to invest in businesses. You can do whatever you want with that money, really. You can get real assets that will produce you more cash flow. And this is what they're hoping to do, to stimulate consumption and investment. And if you are rich, or if you're semi-wealthy, you will be able to do it. But if you are middle class, you are a normal citizen, or maybe you are poor, you have no ability to do so. Your cash will just evaporate. So you have no way to invest. You can only consume more. And you know what? A few people in your country, the central bank, will decide for you how much you need to consume. So really, when people are saying that we're living in a capitalistic world and that capitalism is so bad because of this and this and this, I mean, realize we're not really living in that capitalistic world at the end of the day, because you have a few people centrally planning the entire economy. A few select people deciding for everyone else how much you should spend and how much you should not spend. And if you are middle class, or if you are below middle class, guess what? You will not be able to invest in anything. You will only lose money each month, because the system will force you to spend. And the little things you save, I mean, as long as you cannot buy assets that produce you even more cash, you're at a disadvantage in the system. But as soon as you can buy assets that produce even more more cash, then okay, then it is good for you, especially if you can buy assets that are foreign, so that you can get cash in a foreign currency that is doing better than your local currency. Then you are really in a good position, because while your central bank is devaluing your local currency, you are getting paid in a foreign currency, and you become even richer in your country. So you see, this is how, when I had Da Vinci J15 on the channel, and he said that the monetary system currently takes all the money from the poor and pushes it to the wealthy, and pushes it to people with some millions. I mean, even you don't have to have millions. Even if you have a few hundred thousands, you can be counted as wealthy, and you can really start to use the system to your advantage. But as long as you don't have 100, 200, 300,000 just laying in the bank, it is hard for you to survive, because your money is devaluing. You have no real assets. You cannot really buy anything that produces cash flow. And in that sense, you are just a consumer. And being just a consumer, unfortunately, doesn't take you far. Unfortunately, it is just against your interest, just being a consumer. So this is just my thoughts on this. Let me know what you think, guys. Let me know if you agree, because at the end of the day, you realize that with negative interest rates, the only people that can make it work, and the only people that can make it work in their lives and take it to their advantages are people who can buy assets, and that's it. And this is also why I think cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin are so important, because it is an alternative to this. You obviously cannot control the interest rates however you want if people hold a currency that is simply not connected to your banking system. And so in that sense, to me, cryptocurrencies that are not tied to a specific national central bank, to a specific nation, are invaluable. They're literally invaluable, especially now when the IMF is also coming out and saying that, hey, we are breaking zero. We are already at negative interest in many countries, and we might go lower. And you see, for example, in Venezuela, this is the usage of local bitcoins. This is volume on local Bitcoin website exchange, basically. And you see that, I mean, people who really need Bitcoin, they don't care about whether it is a bull market. They don't care about whether it is a bear market. You see that now, even in bearish times, Venezuela is going up and up and up in Bitcoin trading volumes. And this is really, they are an uncontested leader of the trading, because they really need it. They cannot survive without it. And therefore, I think the same might happen in any country. It might happen in your country as well. And you cannot really be comfortable and be living in this unicorn land when you think that your money will work forever, that you think that your money is safe from all kinds of mysteries that other countries experience. So guys, be very careful. Think about what you guys are having in your bank account, and also read these blog posts. Read what the IMF is saying, because they're not even hiding it. that is the thing. They're not even hiding it, that cash is something that is is the last resistance against all out negative interest rates all across the globe, and they want to eliminate cash. This is how simple as it is. Now, I also want to talk to you about this project that is sponsoring this episode. It's called Evido. So this is an article on Coin Telegraph. And so Evido is sponsoring this episode, and of course we love our sponsors. Without the sponsors, this channel would not exist. And basically it is a new blockchain-based platform that is for transforming events. They want to transform the event industry, and they want to, of course, as usual, eliminate middlemen to reduce costs for organizers, promoters, entertainers, suppliers, and consumers. So all in all, guys, if you are interested in how events can be made more efficient on the blockchain, check out Evido. So basically, they want to focus on trust, creativity, and empathy, and they believe that infrastructure can help those working behind the scenes on major events and achieve creating and exciting results. All in all, they write in this article. So how can blockchain be used for events? Well, it's all about building dApps. At the end of the day, to me, it's all about how can you build a dApp to facilitate this kind of transactions. If you can build a dApp where, for example, what is this website called? Ticket, normally if you want to Eventbrite, yeah, Eventbrite, exactly. Normally, when you organize events, you kind of need to use Eventbrite. At the end of the day, if you're not using Eventbrite, it might be difficult for you to set up the entire system and to set up tickets and everything else. So everyone is using Eventbrite. Obviously, Eventbrite is taking a large cut of everything. So if someone can build a dApp for that to make it more efficient, for example, Evido, it will absolutely help. And in that sense, I think what they really should be focusing on is number one, UI, number two, connecting it with current accounting systems so that it is easy when someone buys a ticket, it gets accounted in the normal accounting system. And number three, that when you get on site, you get a ticket that is scannable. They really need to focus on these three things. And I'm telling you that because I have organized a big event here in Sweden for crypto, Blockspo. Last year, we had over 2,000 people showing up, and Eventbrite took a big part of our cash because we had to use them because they're so good. I mean, let's be honest, the reason we use them is because they're so good. So for a blockchain project such as Evido to compete with them, they really need to be thinking about number one, user experience, number two, integrate into accounting, number three, so that it's scannable on site. Finally, before we go to the chat, I want to give a shout out to Joe Armstrong, who unfortunately passed away. So who is Joe Armstrong? Joe Armstrong is the inventor of Erlang programming language. And you know that I have a background in programming. I mean, really, I am a software developer and I worked at Ericsson here in Sweden for several years. And so if you think about the programming language Erlang is made by Ericsson, really. And really, it was made by Joe Armstrong, who is an internationally known person, and he was an internationally respected and known person in functional programming. And so I had the chance to work with Joe while we worked at Ericsson, and unfortunately now he passed away. And you realize that functional programming is so important, especially in blockchain systems. So just a few weeks ago, I think like 2 weeks ago, we had Cardano on the show and we talked to Charles Hoskinson about functional programming. And functional programming really is all about how can we create a system, how can we create a program that is mathematically verifiable, where you and I can write a mathematical proof that proves what our program does. And really, if you know functional programming, you can do so many things more efficient than in traditional languages such as C++ or Java. And one of the biggest applications that are using Erlang is WhatsApp. And this is something that many people don't know, but many of us use WhatsApp on a daily basis. And you don't think about the fact that they're using this Erlang programming language on the backend. And really, when it comes to applications that need concurrency, they need speed in concurrent operations, Erlang is the perfect solution. And the reason why Erlang was invented by Ericsson is because Ericsson is all about communication. You think about those telecom switches back in the days, and you think about how the telecom industry has developed. I mean, really, they pioneered in many ways this field of concurrency, that you have two programs working at the same time. You have two calls going on the same time. So all in all, Erlang was very important for the development of telecom and really everything that has happened since then. So a huge shout out to Joe Armstrong, who unfortunately passed away. And now we're looking at the chat. What is happening in the chat, guys? Let me know where you're from. You already wrote in the past, but I forgot to look. Let me see if I can go up and see what you wrote. Hi from Croatia, South America. Nice, guys. Okay, welcome. What is happening? What is happening, everyone? Golang is also good for yeah, but you cannot really compare Golang and Erlang. I mean, they are quite different. Golang is not functional in the same sense as Erlang. Erlang is purely functional programming language, while Golang is, I mean, in my view, it's quite imperative as well. I just played nine Lives Arena and Gods Unchained. Great games, first real blockchain games. Oh, nice. I've seen Gods Unchained many times, and people are trying to sell me this, what is it, cards or something, but I haven't tried it. But I will, because you say it's good. I will take a look. The IMF... the IMF will develop its own cryptocurrency rather than XRP. I agree. I agree with that statement. But we will see. Shopping, nice. Linus, welcome. Ivan, by any chance, have you looked at Tezos? By the way, I need to interview Brightmans. Now that you're saying it, I need to reach out to them and I need to get them on the show. And it is also functional programming. Camel is functional, and I think in that sense it is very exciting that they are pushing that front as well with blockchain functional programming on the blockchain. And obviously they have interesting ideas with governance and so on and so forth. But really, I would like to interview the Brightmans and so that they can teach me even more. So they can teach me and also you guys. But that is the thing. That is why I like interviews so much, because if you go back and you watch the interview with Charles Hoskinson we had, I learned so much. That is the thing. I mean, it was really Charles Hoskinson and his two buddies, his two programmers, educating me, and I could ask anything. So it was really, really wonderful for me, and also, of course, guys, for you. But I think it is the mindset that everyone needs to have when you're having an interview. It should be first and foremost interesting for yourself. When you're as an interviewer, you should be interested in learning what the guy you're interviewing has to say. Because if that doesn't work, if you yourself are not interested, nobody else will care. So that is why I think it's so fantastic that as soon as I'm enjoying an interview, you guys will also enjoy it. So it's very important. Okay, what else? Ivan, please interview Colin. Who is that? I never heard about Colin. Maybe I should. Let me see. Colin Cantrell. If he doesn't show up on Google, then I'm not sure I will. Nexus. Okay. Yeah. I've heard about Nexus. Maybe, guys. The stars are lining up. They are indeed, guys. What are your thoughts on Elastos and the modern internet? Well, you realize that internet will change for sure. I mean, it's just a question of time. Whether it is Elastos, whether it is... What was the other project I introduced just a few... whether it is MetaHash, yeah, it was MetaHash. Whether it is Elastos, whether it's MetaHash. I mean, internet needs to be updated, really. We haven't been taking the next step for a very long time. But of course, at this time in our industry, it is way too early to say exactly who will win and who will be the next alternative. But something that really needs to happen is, for example, that we go away from passwords. For example, that we do not need to enter passwords on every website. This is really the cancer of internet today. And there is a solution called PGP. But even with PGP, they didn't succeed in making it mainstream. Now, if crypto goes mainstream, then automatically PGP will go mainstream. So that is just a very important thing that I think needs to happen. And then, of course, we're talking about the unstoppability, the fact that you have unstoppable domains. So if you go to domains.ivontech.com, you can buy such a blockchain domain that is truly unstoppable, where you can host a website, where you can get paid through blockchain, and people pay you to your domain name, not to your long address. So it's just a question of time, in my view. Metaverse. So it's cool. I mean, it's still early on. And by the way, we will have MetaHash on the channel, and I will create a simple application on MetaHash. Should get Ron Paul. Yeah, that would be amazing. Thanks for everything. Nice, Joe. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it. Zeal versus ETH, unstoppable domains, why Zilliqa? So this is a great question, by the way. This is a great question, because obviously .zeal is not the first domain name extension. There is also, for example, let's see, Lux domains. These guys, I think, are trying to, Lux, I think these guys are also trying to map to an Ethereum account, and you also see, for example, .eth and also .eos, and I also think I saw Neo doing something similar. So all in all, all kinds of domain systems will arise. And we need to understand that up until now, it is just a playground. Up until now, it is just playground that people are, building different things on this domain system, on another domain system. But one of these toy systems that are toys right now, it will become the standard. I mean, if you think about it, who would have guessed that .com is the domain extension that will become this global standard? Nobody. Yeah, so in that sense, in the beginning, you had .org, you had .com, you had so many choices, and one of them will become the standard. So this is kind of the same here, that now it's all about who can. I think the domain extension that will be most successful is the one that goes beyond just one blockchain, because at the end of the day, we will have, in my view, inter blockchain world where you have all kinds of platforms, all kinds of systems all working together. So if I would guess, this is the blockchain extension and really the blockchain DNS system that I would have my bet on. But for now, I mean, .zil, .lux, .eth, .eos, I mean, there are so many domain systems, and all in all, we need just to take a deep look and follow the development. That is it. Would be great to have .com domains one day. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Please, .zil become the standard. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. And by the way, if you want .zil, go to domains.ivanontek.com and you can buy any .zil domain here. That is free, of course. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I truly enjoyed hanging out with you today. As usual, be sure to smash that like. Extremely important. But what's even more important is that you smash that bell button, because many people say that they're not getting the notification when I go live. Well, you need to smash the bell and you will, I mean, I hope you will get notification. I hope YouTube is not cheating in that regard. And if you want, join the Telegram in the description. And if you join the Telegram, I assure you, you will never miss anything. So guys, thank you so much for watching. See you all very, very soon. See you all tomorrow. Have a great day and goodbye, guys. Goodbye.